Alright guys, welcome to another Solidworks tutorial. Today we'll be going over lofting really organic shapes, similar to kind of soft rounded surfaces. But we won't need to be using any surfacing except for maybe to do some little extra details like I have here. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we need to do is set up our sketches, just like any other model. Let's go with our right plane first. What we need to do is create our midpoint line, and I might actually try something different. I'm going to go to my midpoint line tool by clicking the little arrow next to the line here, clicking on our origin. And let's go out to 100 millimeters. Which is kind of small. We might bump that up a little bit. 100 is perfect. So, next thing we need to do is create a spline. And to do this, we need to just go from one point to the other, and then we can do one more point here, but we'll trim that off. And then we need to drag our handles and create them give them a vertical relation on both sides. But what I might do is create one a little bit higher than the other. Okay. Now let's create another sketch on the right plane, but for the bottom. I'm going to start off with my spline this time, going from one end to the other, and then you can click on the line to reveal your handles. Once again, give these a vertical relation. And we'll drag them up. All right, and then we need our midpoint line here. And then we can finish our sketch. Lastly, we need to create a top plane sketch. And we'll be doing this twice, but the first time let's create, just like before, we'll do a spline. But this time we can do a 3-point spline. So let's start with our end, and maybe we'll go somewhere like here and then down. And then we're going to make our top and bottom handle horizontal. And then let's drag this arrow over like this. Okay, that works. But you can see these endpoints are kind of just floating, so we need to make sure that those are snap to where they need to be, or add a relation manually. All right. And then let's use our line tool and hit OK. Now we need to mirror this, but what I'm going to do for that is let's create another top plane sketch. Let's copy or convert entity. All right, and then we're going to mirror this entity around about the center line. And we're going to copy this. But now we are going to need to make the spline that we copied. We're going to make that a construction. Okay. So now that we have our form pretty much roughed out, let's go into our Loft Boss Base tool. And what we want to do is go into our right click into our profiles, go to Selection Manager, and we're going to be using our closed loop selection tool. And we're going to select all of our sketches, starting in a, either clockwise or counterclockwise. Like this. And you'll see that it hasn't finished going all the way around, because if I just click on this profile again, it's just going to deselect it. So we need to go and click on our Close Loft option. Okay. And then hit OK. So this is a nice way to create a very organic surface shape just by using the Loft tool and sketches. So now let's have a little bit more fun with it and add in a little like maybe thumb groove. So maybe this is like a little presenter remote for like a PowerPoint presentation, or maybe this is just a worry stone thing that fidget toy. But let's create a new sketch on our front plane. I'm going to create a center line here with my midpoint of that line. So this center line here is coincident to the midpoint of the horizontal line. And then I'm going to create an arc. Let's see. I'm going to do a 3-point arc. Something like that. And let's do surface extrude. I'm going to do through all, and then through all the other side. And there's multiple ways I could do this. I don't have to do it using a surface. I could just simply use a cut, but I want to show you this tool. So, because we can cut with the surface, which really gives you a lot more freedom. So, under our surfacing tool, using the surface cut, let's select our new surface that we created, and make sure that this arrow is pointing in the direction of the cut that you want to make. So I have to flip mine. And I can go ahead and hide the surface. So that's kind of nice. But now I want to make this so instead of just having it, arced, maybe I want it to dip in a little bit. So let's go and create a sketch on our top plane. And then I'm going to offset. While you have this face selected, choose the Offset Entities tool. And let's go down by about 4 millimeters. And then what I want to do is extrude cut, but I need to offset this. So from under the from area, let's move that up a little bit. So 20 is too much, 30 is too little, so let's go 25 or so. Let's go 22 maybe. Something like this. Oh, I see what's happening. Let's go back down to 10, 15, no, 12. Okay. There we go, 12. And then you can just, so under the direction, make sure that it's going upwards, and then just choose through all. Hit OK. Now what we need to do is delete, going back into our surfaces, tab, choose delete face, select these two surfaces here, and then we want to use the option delete and fill, but let's uncheck the tangent fill option. And you can see a preview, well, maybe not because it's hidden under the surface, but sometimes you can see the preview. And hit OK. And what this gives me is a really nice even chamfer. Because if I just use the chamfer tool, it wouldn't be perfectly symmetrical on the top face because of the way that it's on a, because of the fact that it's on a curve. All right. So there you have it. Really cool little organic shape, and we could even do that same thing we did here on the front face. Actually, let's just do that real quick. Let's see. Center point. Let's go horizontal. So my midpoint is horizontal to my origin. Use our arc tool. And actually, what I can do here, let's go ahead and trim this off. I'm going to do a Revolve Cut. And I didn't have this closed, so it just asked me if I would like to close this sketch, and I said yes. And maybe, this face would be, glass or something. And this body can be I don't know, like a soft touch. Anyway, there you have it. So make sure you save it, obviously. And I'll see you on the next one.